It is not just about words floating in the air. It is about the spirit behind those words, the mindset that produced them, and the future they are quietly revealing to you. Words are never neutral. Every sentence carries a seed, and that seed will eventually grow into a tree that gives fruit. Many people ignore words because they are emotional, charming, or spoken softly, but wisdom listens beyond tone and listens for truth. You must understand this clearly. People do not accidentally speak. They speak from who they are. When someone reveals their philosophy, they are revealing their destiny, and if you attach yourself to that destiny blindly, you will share in its consequences. The first dangerous thing a man can say is, "This is just how I am." That sentence sounds simple, but it is one of the most powerful confessions a person can make. When a man says this, he is telling you that he has chosen comfort over growth. He is announcing that he has made peace with his flaws and does not intend to evolve. Life was designed to move forward, to develop, to mature, and to increase in value. Any person who resists growth will eventually resist responsibility. This statement is often used to excuse disrespect, emotional neglect, inconsistency, or lack of discipline. It is a declaration that says, "Do not expect more from me." If you stay, you are silently agreeing to lower your standards. You cannot build a future with someone who has decided to remain unfinished, because relationships require continual development, not fixed excuses. Another sentence that should cause immediate alert in your spirit is, "You're too sensitive." This is not a harmless observation, it is a subtle form of control. When a man says this repeatedly, he is not trying to understand you, he is trying to silence you. Sensitivity is not weakness, it is awareness. It means you are emotionally alive, perceptive, and responsive. When someone dismisses your feelings instead of seeking to understand them, they are revealing a lack of empathy. Relationships thrive on emotional intelligence, not emotional avoidance. A man who cannot respect your emotions today will invalidate your pain tomorrow. Over time, this sentence trains you to doubt your own perceptions, to suppress your voice, and to tolerate behavior you once knew was wrong. Walking away is not rejection, it is self-preservation. The third phrase that should cause you to pause and then move away with confidence is, "I don't believe in labels or commitment." Now hear this clearly, commitment is not a prison. It is proof of clarity. When a man avoids defining the relationship, he is protecting his options, not your heart. Love that refuses responsibility is not love, it is convenience. Purposeful people define things because definition brings direction. Undefined relationships create confusion, anxiety, and imbalance. If someone enjoys your presence but avoids accountability, they are enjoying benefits without responsibility. You were not designed to be an option, a placeholder, or a backup plan. You were designed to be chosen intentionally. Any man who fears commitment is not afraid of labels. He is afraid of responsibility, and responsibility is the foundation of trust. Another statement that reveals danger is, "All my past relationships failed because of the other person." This is a confession disguised as self-defense. When a man takes no responsibility for repeated failure, he is telling you that he has learned nothing from his past. Growth requires reflection, humility, and ownership. Patterns do not lie. If everyone before you was the problem, then you are standing next in line to be blamed. Asks questions, learns lessons, and adjusts behavior. A man who refuses to acknowledge his contribution to broken relationships will repeat the same cycles. Relationships are mirrors. They expose character. If he cannot see himself clearly, he will eventually project his flaws onto you. The fifth and perhaps most revealing thing a man can say is, "I'm not ready right now, but don't go anywhere." This sentence is emotionally manipulative, even if spoken softly. It keeps you suspended in hope while he remains stationary in indecision. Time is life, and life should not be wasted waiting for someone to decide your value. Readiness is not about time, it is about priority. People make time for what matters to them. When someone asks you to stay while offering no direction, no timeline, and no commitment, They are asking you to sacrifice your future for their comfort. You were not created to pause your destiny while someone figures out theirs. A relationship that delays clarity eventually delays progress, and delay is often more damaging than rejection. Now understand this, walking away is not an act of anger, bitterness, or pride. It is an act of wisdom. Wisdom knows when to release before attachment turns into bondage. Many people stay too long because they confuse patience with tolerance. Patience is waiting for growth when growth is evident. Tolerance is enduring dysfunction, hoping it will transform on its own. Hope without evidence is not faith, it is denial. You must learn to listen to words early because words reveal direction. It is easier to leave when the warning signs are verbal than when the damage becomes emotional. You must also understand your own value. When you know who you are, you stop negotiating with people who are unsure how to treat you. Confidence does not shout, it walks away quietly. The strongest decisions are often the quietest ones. You do not need to argue, explain, or convince someone to see your worth. People who are ready for you will recognize you without persuasion. Life is too purposeful to be spent decoding mixed signals and vague intentions. Clarity is a sign of maturity, and maturity is attractive to destiny-minded people. There is a difference between potential and pattern. Many people stay because they see potential, but potential that refuses discipline remains potential forever. Patterns, however, are current realities. If the words you are hearing today reflect avoidance, disrespect, or emotional immaturity, believe them. Love does not require you to abandon discernment. In fact, love thrives where discernment is present. You are allowed to choose peace over passion, clarity over confusion, and purpose over pressure. Walking away does not mean you failed. It means you listened. It means you honored your future. Every time you say no to what diminishes you, you say yes to what aligns with your purpose. The right relationships do not drain you, they develop you. They do not confuse you, they confirm you. They do not ask you to shrink, they challenge you to rise. When you begin to value your time, your emotions, and your calling, you will stop entertaining conversations that lead nowhere. Remember, destiny relationships recognize timing, honor growth, and respect boundaries. Anything that requires you to silence your intuition, justify disrespect, or postpone your future is not aligned with who you are becoming. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away before attachment turns into regret, before hope turns into heartbreak, and before love turns into compromise. When you walk away from the wrong voice, you create space for the right one to speak, the one that does not confuse you, delay you, or diminish you, but instead speaks life, direction, and purpose into who you are and who you are becoming. Because the moment you stop settling for words that weaken you, you position yourself to receive words that build you, affirm you, and align you with a future that does not require you to beg for clarity or fight for consistency. And as you continue to grow in discernment, you will begin to notice that peace becomes your confirmation, strength becomes your language, and your standards become clearer, because you finally understand that walking away was never about losing someone. It was about finding yourself in the process. And once you find yourself, you will never ag. Feel the need to stay where your spirit is constantly asking you to leave, and that is where true freedom begins. Because from that place, you start to recognize that your life is too intentional, your calling too significant, and your journey too valuable to be paused by anyone who is unsure about their direction, their responsibility, or their willingness to rise to the level of purpose that your life demands. And when that realization settles deeply within you, everything you tolerate begins to change, the conversations you entertain begin to shift, and the standards you live by begin to rise. Because now you are no longer moved by words alone, but by the alignment between words, actions, and destiny. And from this place of clarity, strength, and self-respect, you begin to walk forward with a new awareness that transforms how you choose, how you love, and how you allow others to access your life. Because you finally see that every decision you make is either moving you closer to purpose or pulling you further from it. And with that understanding guiding your steps, you will never again ignore the warning signs hidden in simple sentences. Because you now know that the smallest words can reveal the biggest truths. And those truths are meant to guide you, protect you, and prepare you for what comes next. As you continue this journey of growth, discernment, and intentional living, where every choice matters and every step forward shapes the life you are becoming. And as you reflect on these truths, you begin to sense that something within you is shifting, awakening, and preparing you for a higher standard of relationship, connection, and purpose that requires you to be fully present, fully aware, and fully committed to never settling again. Because settling is the enemy of destiny, and destiny responds only to those who are willing to let go of what no longer aligns in order to make room for what truly belongs in the next chapter of their life. And this understanding, G continues to unfold within you as you move forward, recognizing that the journey ahead demands wisdom, courage, and the willingness to choose yourself even when it feels uncomfortable. Because discomfort is often the doorway to growth, and growth is the language of purpose. And as you step deeper into this awareness, you begin to see that everything you release creates space for something greater to enter, something aligned, something intentional, something that speaks life rather than confusion. And this is where your story begins to change in ways you may not fully see yet, but you can feel it building, unfolding, and calling you forward as you continue to walk this path with clarity, strength, and an unshakable understanding of your worth, knowing that what lies ahead requires you to remain attentive, discerning, and committed to the truth you now carry within you, because this truth will guide your decisions, shape your future, and define the kind of relationships you will no longer tolerate as you move into what comes next. And so, as this message settles deep within you, understand that the purpose of discernment is not to make you fearful of relationships, but to make you free within them. Freedom is the ability to choose without pressure, to love without losing yourself, and to walk away without guilt when something no longer aligns with your purpose. You were never created to beg for clarity, to chase consistency, or to negotiate respect. Those things are not rewards, they are requirements. The moment you accept less, you quietly teach others how to treat you. But the moment you honor yourself, you set a standard that filters who is allowed to walk with you into the future. There is a reason wisdom speaks before pain arrives. Pain is often the teacher when wisdom is ignored. But today, you are choosing wisdom. You are choosing to listen early, to see clearly, and to act decisively. This does not make you cold, it makes you conscious. It does not make you difficult, it makes you disciplined. Discipline is simply the decision to protect tomorrow by making a strong choice today. Every time you walk away from what weakens you, you strengthen your future. Every time you refuse confusion, you invite clarity. Every time you release emotional noise, you make room for peace to speak. Remember this deeply. You do not lose people by walking away from disrespect. You lose illusions. You lose the version of someone you hoped they would become, not the version they have chosen to be. And that loss, painful as it may feel in the moment, is actually deliverance. It frees your energy, your focus, and your emotional capacity to be invested where growth is mutual and purpose is shared. You are not responsible for fixing someone who refuses to grow. You are responsible for stewarding your own life wisely. Your future relationships will thank you for the courage you show today. The strength to walk away builds the confidence to stand firm later. It sharpens your discernment and refines your expectations. Over time, you will notice that you no longer feel drawn to vague words or empty promises. You will be attracted to clarity, consistency, and character. You will value actions over explanations and alignment over attraction. This is maturity, and maturity always attracts stability. Do not underestimate the power of timing. Some connections are not wrong because the person is evil, but because the season is misaligned. And when seasons are wrong, even good intentions can cause damage. Wisdom knows when to release without resentment. Walking away does not require anger, it requires understanding. Understanding that your life has direction, your purpose has momentum, and anything that slows that momentum without contributing to growth must be questioned honestly. As you move forward, let peace become your confirmation. Something constantly disturbs your spirit, drains your energy, or leaves you anxious rather than secure. Listen to that signal. Peace is not weakness, it is alignment. It is the inner assurance that you are where you are supposed to be. Chaos may feel exciting at first, but it is exhausting in the long run. Stability may feel unfamiliar at first, but it is nourishing to the soul. Choose what builds you, not what merely stimulates you. You must also forgive yourself for the times you stayed too long. Growth is not about regret, it is about awareness. You did the best you could with the understanding you had at the time. Now you know better, and knowing better empowers you to choose better. Do not shame yourself for lessons learned through experience. Those lessons have strengthened your discernment and sharpened your intuition. What once confused you will now caution you. What once trapped you will now teach you. The right person will not ask you to shrink, wait indefinitely, or sigh. Lens your truth. They will meet you with clarity, not confusion. They will value your emotions, not dismiss them. They will take responsibility, not avoid it. And most importantly, they will see commitment not as a burden, but as an honor. You do not have to chase this kind of connection. It aligns naturally when you are walking in purpose. Purpose attracts purpose. Clarity attracts clarity. Wholeness attracts wholeness. From this point forward, let your choices be intentional. Let your standards be non-negotiable. Let your boundaries be respected, not explained. You do not owe access to anyone who consistently shows you they are unprepared to handle your presence. Your life is not an audition. Your heart is not a waiting room. Your future is not negotiable. As you carry this understanding with you, you will begin to notice a shift, not only in who you attract, but in how you show up. You will speak with confidence. You will listen with discernment. You will love with wisdom. And it's time to walk away, you will do so without bitterness, knowing that you are not walking away from love, but walking toward alignment. This is the power of knowing when to leave. It is not about escape, it is about elevation. It is about recognizing that your life carries value, direction, and purpose that cannot be compromised for temporary comfort. When you honor that truth, your steps become lighter, your vision becomes clearer, and your future becomes brighter. And so you move forward, not hardened by disappointment, but strengthened by understanding. Not guarded by fear, but guided by wisdom. Not desperate for connection, but prepared for the right one. Because now you understand that the greatest act of self-love is not holding on at all costs, but releasing what no longer serves your growth, trusting that what is meant for you will meet you where clarity, purpose, and peace intersect, and from that place, your life will continue to unfold with strength, intention, and an unshakable awareness that you were never meant to settle, delay, or diminish yourself for anyone.